Hi, this is Shankar, and after a long time, I'm making a video today where I'm. I have a very in Bhrigu Nadi as well as in other methods, Jupiter Saturn combination together, and especially when they are in close conjunction. I mean, 3 to 4 degrees either way. I mean, the conjunction is to the extent of 4 to 5 degrees. They have a very important impact because Jupiter and Saturn, as planets, they are opposite in their nature. A Jupiter is all about expansion, Saturn is all about contraction, Jupiter is about knowledge, wisdom, Saturn is all about discipline, structure, order. So, these two planets, and even if you from a very different perspective, if you consider Jupiter is the guru and Saturn is the servant. So, from all the perspectives, Jupiter and Saturn, they have a kind of a different characteristic. And when they are together, Jupiter, Saturn together, they do create issues. And I've seen that they create issues with respect to relationships, love, emotions. These are the places where Jupiter and Saturn do create problem. This is an horoscope of a lady which I have, uh, a girl which very beautiful, a very good looking girl, because you can see Shukra is in the 10th house. She's amazingly beautiful, but she's gone through a lot of relationships, failed relationships, and she's gone into liking people whom perhaps considering her beauty and other things would be below the standard. Finally, she fell in love with somebody who was like entrepreneur of a small time, and she's today cut off her relationships from her parents and family. So this is broadly about this horoscope, and I can give you a lot of examples of other horoscopes when Jupiter and Saturn, especially when they're in the seventh house, the 11th house, and in the second or the fifth house. Seventh, 11th, second, I give more importance, where it will create problems in cases of marriage. Since 11th house is fifth from seventh, it gives a kind of a different kind of attitude towards your family, because seventh house is also family. People who are sitting opposite to you, that is what seventh house is. How you deal with them, that makes a difference. Second house is all what is there in your mind, what have you got from your family, what have you got from in terms of your DNA, that is what the second house. And fifth house is again in terms of love, relationships. So whenever Jupiter and Saturn, especially when it is in seventh, 11th, second and fifth together and in close conjunctions, it will create problems in aspects. In seventh house, I've seen people not getting married at all, especially in case of females horoscope, not getting married at all, and living a very lonely kind of a life. And even if they get married, it's rocky. 11th house, I've seen people getting married, but they don't get satisfaction from the people who are opposite them, kind of family, kind of people whom they kind respect. They have issues. Their husband is overbearing, makes them to do things which perhaps the partner or husband, what you can call it, makes them to do things perhaps which they do not wish, but then they're compelled to. And second house is all about your kutumba as such. And even I've seen the eighth house, it Jupiter and Saturn together will create issues in terms of uh, second house is basically the house of your it's the second from the seventh house, so the husband's family. It will create issues there, ups and downs. And this is in both cases while the planet is direct or retrograde. But if they are in conjunction, they will create issues. When they are retrograde, they have different kinds of issues. You also see where they are placed, the nakshatra where they are placed, because that I give a lot of importance to, the Lord of the nakshatra where it is placed. So those aspects are also to be considered, and they modify the effect which I have tried to explain. So to that extent, yes, it does modify, but these kinds of things will always remain there as a part. So this is what is my analysis of Jupiter and Saturn. And when you will see, when Jupiter and Saturn is in transit in 2020, about when they're together, people should analyze the transit, and it will be very, very interesting. Jupiter Saturn has got a role to play as far as Bhrigu Nadi system is concerned, and because one is The one Jupiter tells what can happen to you. In Trigonometry, Jupiter gives an idea of what are the events which can happen around you, what are the things which can take place. While which event will happen is because of Saturn. Saturn tells exactly which event will happen. The other planets modify it, and all planets, including Rahu, Ketu, and Sun, Moon, Mars, they modify it to a different extent. And of course, I will not go into the principles of Trigonometry, but this is what importance is. Also, one should also see like this horoscope which you are seeing here. It has a Lagnesh Mars, which is in the eighth house, which itself eighth house is a house of secretiveness, it's a house of sexuality, it's a house of things which cannot be seen, hidden under the earth. It's got a lot of good things also, but in here Lagnesh is Ashtamesh, and then you have Mercury and Moon also together in the eighth house. One thing more which I will discuss in another horoscope, in another video probably, is, and even in this horoscope is very evident, is whenever you see Moon in Mrigashira Nakshatra, pause. Whenever you see Moon in Mercury in Mrigashira Nakshatra, pause, because that depicts a Moon in its real form, and especially when it is the Mercury, it talks. It's about Som. It's about Moon as a Soma, and Moon as Soma has a lot of impact in terms of relationships, in terms of affairs, in terms of other things. Whenever it is with Mercury, it will modify it, but it depends where Mercury is, for the positive or the negative. In this case, Mercury is in its own house, so it has its advantage, and it's in Ardhana Nakshatra, so it will give an unconventional attitude. Moon will have its impact, but it gives an unconventional attitude. I mean, sorry, Mars is in Mercury is in the Punarvasu Nakshatra, which is very good. Gives a very attitude of knowledge. It gives an attitude of wisdom. It gives an attitude of doing things, trying things. So this girl, uh, at the end of the day, she could see what is right and wrong for her, and she perhaps did the right things by moving off from the negatives and to the positive. That is because of Mercury. The Moon has its impact. Mars is in Adara Nakshatra and Rahu. It makes one do be a little unconventional. Being in the eighth house, it has its impact. So that's a different this thing. But since we were discussing this horoscope, so I was trying to explain to you Jupiter, Saturn, its impact. Its depositor is Mercury. It is in eighth house. It is Sagrahi. It is in Punarvasu Nakshatra. It has its own impact. Then it is with Mars and Moon. Moon is in Mrigashira Nakshatra, which I tried to explain you, and Mars in Adara Nakshatra, eighth house at Gemini. So it actually it is a depositor of Jupiter and Saturn, which I was trying to explain, which also plays a very important role. Shukra in 10th in Magha Nakshatra, excellent, very beautiful girl. Ketu in the third house, and Sun and Rahu are actually very good. Sun and Rahu, I've seen that whenever they are in close conjunctions, they create explosions, but after the explosion, they create positivity. So this is what I wanted to explain you about this uh, impact of how to analyze Jupiter and Saturn. Whenever you see Jupiter and Saturn, watch, wait, see it. It's going to have some impact in the relationship, which is not going to be positive. See where the depositor is placed. That is going to color it. See which are the planets which are in conjunction. See the nakshatra where they are placed, and that will give you an idea of what the events would happen, especially in the case of your personal life, your sex life, your relationships. This is a topic which cannot be covered in a video, but this is a pointer which I'm trying to give you. I hope you'd like the video. You can contact me connectingminds@gmail.com. I have my site and blog. You can always write to me, and it'll be my good luck to answer it. Thank you. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.